Alright, we have the simulation done. Just load from disk so we can see the results. Pretty cool. We're not seeing any flame anymore because right now what we're visualizing are just the density. It's just the density field. So I'm going to set up some maybe some more interesting lighting. Maybe I can go to let's see which angle is nice. Trying to find out a nice looking angle. Maybe here. Right. I'm gonna go create a camera right here. Oops. Go back to the camera and lock it so I can navigate it, and then go back. And then I'm gonna go to the area light I'm using. Maybe just go just a little bit to the other side of the camera. So what I want to achieve is some sort of like rim light. So now if I go back to the camera, I can see, oops, too high. So let me go back to the area light. I have to lock it here. Sorry, lock it and rotate it this way, maybe down a little bit. Alright, cool. Go back to my camera, unlock it. As you can see, I'm creating a cool rim light from the back. That could be really nice rim lights. And I'm gonna create a key light from this angle. Control click for a area light. Right. And the area light can be a little weaker, I guess 13, 12, maybe 14, just to get some you know, some lighting, but not as strong as the rim light. I need a fill light here if I wanted to do that. I'm gonna create maybe a different light type, a point light. And this point light will be fairly weak. Let me change that to maybe just 3. So it's just filling in a little bit. Alright, so a very basic 3-point lighting. I'm gonna go back to the render view and let's take a look at how this guy looks like. You can see it's just a bunch of smokes. So to really make it do some fire inside of it, we have to give it a proper material. So here, right out of the material land, I'm gonna create a Pyro shader and call this guy Pyro shader explosion. And out back to the OBJ, and I'm gonna grab my explosion simulation cache, go to render and assign that material right here. Okay, now let's take a look at it now. Just that to the camera and render. Huh, interesting, not really seeing anything. Try that again. Let's go back to the scene view. Maybe I didn't really assign the material. It doesn't really, it's not really there. So let me do that again. Accept. Okay. Back to the render view. Do that again. That should give me something different because the Pyro solver should have fire in there. Right, like this. The default setting, of course, is always not good for some reason. So I'm gonna go change the material here by going to material and select this guy. I'm gonna say intensity and temperature will all be 1, and then I'm gonna remap these guys here. You're seeing blue because you're seeing actually ultraviolet color because the temperature is just too high. I'm gonna remap it. So fit to range. I'm gonna source the range from 1 to 50. And rearrange them from 0 to 1. As you can see now, I'm getting a much better color range. Probably 50 is too big. Let's try 25. Now, okay. Just a little lower. How about 18. So the explosion should start with super strong color and cools down the way. Alright, and becomes a bunch of smoke. I probably created too much smoke. The dissipation in the Pyro solver is not enough to dissipate all these things. Anyway, so let's pick a frame here, maybe this one looking, yeah, it's looking pretty nice, maybe just a little bit further. Alright, so that's basically the temperature, which defines the color. The intensity defines the brightness. I'm also going to fit it to range from, let's try 2. Darker, maybe 0.6. 1. It's not that much different. So let me create actually a use lookup range and then make it bigger. I'm gonna give it some crazy up and downs. So that my intensity or the brightness of these guys can vary down the way. Maybe not that much, but it's trying to give it some dramatic change down the way in the middle. So it's still kind of like going up, but it's now having some more variation inside of it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the temperature too. With those variations, you're going to see a little bit more detail on the top part of it. I think 18 is probably too small, 25 maybe. Alright. So let me go use lookup ramp here also, and I'm gonna do a few points, drop down a lot of points, and I'm gonna vary the position of these points. And make some more dramatic change. Especially for the end, I think I can have a lot of more variation here and stronger, so that I can really see some detail on the burning parts. Number can be just a little bigger here, be 40, so I can just see a little bit more detail. Okay. So these variations is just gonna give me a little bit more variation on those brighter and darker areas. Mimicking those guys from scratch will be difficult, so that's why I'm doing here. Of course, how you drag those and create those guys can vary, and here final scale can be bigger if you wanted to have just more brightness from the lighting, from the fire. Again, this heat intensity here is using heat against the flame, right? You can change the intensity up. That's going to make things brighter. And the other guy is actually the color remapping. So I don't think making it to 2 would help too much. But I guess I kind of like this result actually. Let's see, maybe 1.2. Just a little bit. Alright, and of course you can add noise if you wanted to, so go to the file intensity field, you can check on the noise. It's gonna append a lot of more noise. The edge actually is not like that. If you wanted to actually go here and check out the alpha to see the actual edge of that explosion. And you can have different frequency to control it. You can have different bias to maybe make it stronger or weaker. You can change the mode to scale, which is multiplying the noise, which is going to give you a whole complete different result. And you can again go back to the final amplitude and crank that up to something bigger. Okay. Now noise needs the rest field, so you have to have the rest to make the noise work. Okay, that's gonna give us some more detail on these lighting area, the spread flame area. We can also do the same thing for the temperature noise. Check out the noise, use scale, right? And then we'll have some more tiny little detail on those color variation, as you can see here. That's probably too much. I'm gonna change the frequency back to maybe just 2, so it's not like super dense, right? I like this kind of like smaller, bigger variation. Okay, another thing you can change is, of course, the underneath general. You can change the color of the smoke. You can make it brighter, right? If it's like, I don't know, explosion that is made of dry stuff. And if it's gasoline, then it should be darker like that. You know, whatever you see fit. Anyway, so I'm gonna keep it actually a little dark. I like the darker result. Alright, so that's what you can do on the material. Now eventually, to really make the flame illuminate the surrounding smoke, I think my smoke is too much. I'm gonna change the density to 0.1 just to lower down it. See, oh, that's too small. Maybe let's say 0.5. Right, too much smoke. Okay, anyway, so if you really want the flame to eliminate the smoke and anything around it, you have to go to the object level and grab the explosion simulation cache and click on volume light. What that does is actually creating a volume light based on the intensity, the density field, and the pyro material we apply to it, and that's gonna give us a much brighter results, especially when there is flame. It's gonna illuminate the surroundings. Just to make it look, just to make it more visible, right? I'm gonna change the exposure to maybe 3. Okay, maybe even higher than that. Let's try 10. I'm not seeing much. Double click there. Shift double click there. We can actually compare that if you wanted to. We can maybe here click a snapshot, right? And maybe we can disable it. You can see the difference. Actually, no difference. Here, let's take a look. So we're using volume light. We're reading the explosion material and the cache. Not sure why though. Maybe I need more exposure. Like let's try 100. Doesn't really do something. Stop that. Go back to here. It is doing a lot of things here in the viewport. Not sure why it's not rendering here. Let me try that again. That's really interesting. Let me try that again, maybe. Delete that volume light. I'm gonna grab the explosion simulation cache one more time, make sure that I have material and everything, and create a volume light based on that. Okay. And then go to the render view and do render. How about this time change the exposure to something higher? 10. Yeah, that's working. I'm not sure why it's not working before. Anyway, it's just maybe make it 2 or something. What it does is, again, actually illuminate the surroundings. As you can see, more color bleeding compared to before, right? More color bleeding from the fire actually illuminating the surrounding smoke. As you can see here, it was dark, right? There's no relationship. Now we really have that illuminating and giving it just a little more heat. Okay. Alright, that's gonna be everything I want to go over for the Pyro explosion. You can experiment and do more tests and see if you can come up with something more dynamic. But for now, that's all there is actually for a quite refined simulation and render. Of course, you want to crank up the quality higher if you want to get higher quality result. The volume light is very expensive. Just be aware of that. You use it, you will see the time double or triple sometimes, or even higher than that. So, alright, that's it for the Pyro explosion. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.